Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? This is Patrick Brown here, Executive Director of the Renewal Center. I'm here today with our very first artist spotlight. One of the things here at the Renewal Center, part of our focus is to not only renew minds and restore lives and build Christ as a foundation, but also reforming culture. And one of the ways that we do that as the Center for Prophetic Thought, Voice, Art, and Action is to celebrate artists. And so today we're focusing this entire month on Artist Awareness and Art Appreciation Month. And so without further ado, today I have with us an artist. We also have a media design producer, digital media consultant here at the Renewal Center. And most importantly, he is my nephew, Emmett. Hey, Emmett, what's going on, sir?
What's going on?
I'm so glad that you're here on our Renewal Live. This is so good. Folks, I want you to go ahead and please get the likes up. If you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, please. And it's Patrick Brown. And also make sure that you follow all of our pages on social media, whether it be at the Renewal Centers and Instagram, and also on our Facebook page at I Am Renewal. So go ahead and hashtag I Am Renewal for those that are out there watching today. So as we're celebrating, focusing on art, you know, that's such a powerful part of who we are as human beings. And not only just as humanity, but also how it speaks to our lives. And so share a little bit with us about, you know, as we're celebrating artist appreciation and artist awareness, what art do you do? What do you create? You know I shared that you are a photographer as well. You do graphic design, you create videos, you do videography, and we're going to have an opportunity to share some of that content with the audience. But share with us a little bit about just your foundation in art.
So starting off my art background, I started as a graphic designer, or kind of more of a photo manipulator. Mm-hmm. So for people that don't know what that is, it's kind of like taking photos, kind of like changing it and kind of making more of like wallpapers and things like that, and kind of putting your own twist to reality with using like Photoshop and things like that. I found that in high school. So that in photography was kind of like my whole genre right there. Okay. As I move forward, I kind of left the photo manipulation behind, and I kind of took on the photography role and kind of focused more on taking pictures and kind of like mainly focusing on that. But while I was in school, school makes you you have to take a lot of classes that are not kind of like in your concentration. So okay. I had to take a lot of painting, a lot of drawing, which I really hated because I just can't draw. I had to take a lot of sculpture classes and kind of like art history, things like that. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really dive into kind of like photography and videography until kind of like my junior, senior year. And that's when I kind of got into the role of video editing. So video editing came probably say 3 years after that. Mm-hmm. And now my genre is more of video editing and kind of photography on the side.
Okay. So you took some courses, mm-hmm. and you went to Central Peabody.
Yes.
Here in the Charlotte area.
Yes.
And what's the degree in again?
Associate of Arts. So just mainly, there's always the Associate of Arts, but my concentration was more of just design art.
Okay. Design art.
Yeah.
And so when you took those other courses that you really didn't, vibe with per se or gel with, what did those types of courses do to you?
So it made me, now looking at it now, it made me look at perspective a little bit more. Before, I just thought everything was mainly straightforward. I didn't really think about angles. I didn't think about how things will look in certain lighting. I didn't I didn't really think of how things will look in a 3D space. So taking drawing, I'm thinking everything's flat. But when you do take drawing, you have to look at perspective, making shadows, things like that. So I didn't really, going in, I didn't really think about that. But I kind of took those lessons and kind of took that into photography, videography, and kind of like, okay, I'm glad I took these classes. So now I'm like more aware of, what I can do moving forward. So those classes, growing up, I was just kind of like, I really don't need it. Like, I find it pointless. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm wasting my time because I'm not really doing photography or anything like that. But now I kind of appreciate it even more.
Okay.
So
it sharpened you, provided a different perspective that now your world is a little larger in context because of those courses. Okay, so that's associate. Now fast forward to where you are now.
Yes.
What's the degree that you're pursuing right now? What's your personal study?
So before it was graphic design. Once I switched over to UNCC, so University of North Carolina at Charlotte, when I first entered, it was graphic design. And their program is a great program, but it was very structured. And I knew that I'm not a very structured person. So I looked at their degrees and stuff like that. And they had digital media, which we have a little bit more creative freedom. You know, you dabble on more things instead of just one. So I switched from graphic design to digital media. And now I'm just strictly digital media and Africana studies.
Okay. So when you say you dab into more things in digital media versus graphic design, what do you mean by you dab more into things in digital media? Like what?
So kind of like 3D and animation, 3D modeling. When you take graphic design, you take 3D modeling more as an elective. And then when you're in digital media, it's more kind of like you need to take these things. And with those, I'm able to create intros. I'm able to create kind of like a whole different world that I couldn't create on a 2D plane. So I'm able to dabble in that. I'm able to take a little bit of videography classes, web design classes, and also photography classes. So all those classes combined together is kind of like digital media. Instead of doing graphic design, it's strictly boom, 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 boom.
Okay. Wow. That's interesting. I never heard of it that way. Sometimes when I think of digital media, perhaps I was thinking one-dimensional, but of course there are a lot of different aspects to it. And so that's your BFA.
Yes.
And then you have a background in Africana studies, you said.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit about how that connects with what you do as well. Tell me a little bit about, as we're focusing on artist awareness, artist appreciation, give us your why do you do what you do? What makes Emmett do what Emmett does?
It's comfortability. It's a comfort zone for me. And I enjoy it. There's a lot of, things that I find, I put it like this. It's an interest that I find relaxing. So like when I am creating something, and how can I put this? That's more why I create. And also the reaction that I do get from people, because I do like put people like smiles on people's faces. So when I'm doing photography and they're like, "Oh, I like this photo," I'm just like, okay, it's more of a happy place, and kind of like I'm more in tune with that than rather doing something else. So that was kind of like why I do art. And also because I'm constantly thinking in my head kind of like what will go great with this, or kind of like what can I do to make this a little bit better, or what will my twist be on things. So without me kind of like typing it or verbally saying something, that's my way of kind of like talking. So that's the reason why I do what I do. So
your art is an extension of your conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Or kind of like a conversation, or kind of what I'm feeling at the moment.
Okay. So it's your communication then.
Yeah.
So you create, you're getting responses, reactions from people with your photography or other medium of your art. So it communicates what? What does it communicate to your audience or those that are receiving your art?
Gosh, to be honest, I really don't know what it communicates. So just because I haven't really asked people what it communicates, and nor do I kind of like thought in my head, like, how can I get this off to other people? I feel like when I am creating, it's more kind of like, okay, this is how I feel. You can take it how it is, or you can give me your response, but this is how I perceive what it is, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. So it's not just necessary. Maybe my question was limiting, asking what it communicates as much as why.
Why? Okay.
Because what is a little bit limiting. So why, it's expression.
Yes.
It's you're not necessarily looking for one particular message to communicate as much as I'm expressing, let's see where this goes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what work are you currently working on now? And then I like to show the audience some of your work.
As of right now, I'm not currently doing anything right now because I just got done doing classes, and usually my work that I do, I usually trying to wait and put time and kind of like make sure everything's followed through when I do that work. So currently I'm not working on things right now, but I am working things on the Renewal Center, trying to focus on intro stuff like that. I just got done doing the black pain video, which expresses black males and how they express their pain, their emotional pain, and stuff like that. Just got done putting that out a couple of months ago, and that was kind of like, I feel like that was my biggest project that I ever did. Just because I took a lot of time putting my heart and my passion into that. But most of all the projects, or kind of like the things that I do, are kind of like short and quick. Or if I'm doing like a travel video, it's just kind of like, how can I put it? It's more of a in a moment type of creation. So usually when I do create, it's just something that pops up, and it's just kind of like, okay, I got to create it. Because there are some times where I do have creative blocks, and that can go for days, weeks, or even months, where it's kind of like a solid idea that I can actually stay with actually comes up.
I want to talk about that creative block too, but I want to get back to your idea of your conversation about black pain. You talked a little bit about the video that you did. I want to show the audience this creation by Emmett on black pain. You want to maybe level set it and kind of set it up. Why did you do black pain? Tell us a little bit about that, and then I'm going to show it.
So this was done for my senior seminar class for digital media, for kind of like not my exit project, but kind of, just to do not to do the project, but to create something. And the topic was, you can create whatever you want. And I wanted to create something that was kind of not very personal, but kind of something that a lot of people can relate to. So I decided to do black pain, especially with black males, because me personally, I experienced a lot of emotional pain, and I know I'm not the only one that goes through it.
Right.
So my idea was, maybe I need to interview a couple of people and just show people, I'm not alone, or you're not alone. There might be someone that's sitting at home be like, I think I'm the only one going through this, but there's a lot of people that are actually going through this, and I just want to show that kind of like,
I want to show this to the audience. Let me cue this up here. All right. Go ahead and share this, and hopefully they'll hear the sound as well. Just one moment.
young black entrepreneur, truck businessman. My name is Casey Williams. I work at the job organization. I'm a real estate consultant. My name is Lamar Perkins. My hobby is working on my cars, playing ball. I would say emotional pain. And I associate with them all, but the one that is like, I guess you could say the most damaging is mental pain. Only because of the experience I've had to go through, whether it was in the workplace, whether it was
Okay, let's pause here for a moment. Your intro. Let's talk a little bit about your intro.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why that intro.
So I would say this: the original intro that I had before, it was very basic. When I mean basic, it was very straight to the point, and that was kind of like the idea that I wanted to go for at first. And later, getting different responses and critiques, they were kind of like, "Oh, this is not you. You just, you just want to create a intros just to get it over with." And they were like, "You need to put you inside there to kind of give it your own feel to the video." So I kind of took that and sat with it and kind of thought, kind of like, what is me? Kind of like, what type of videos do I like? What type of videos do I like to create? So I started looking at, I do like black and white videos. I kind of like the idea of kind of like this suspense, kind of what's going to happen later, was kind of like the idea of color, what comes after that, and kind of like how that corresponds with black and white. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It's making sense. It's also expanding our thoughts.
Okay.
So I may not grab it right now, but I'm following you.
Okay.
Because the whole goal clearly is you're saying that black and white, what that does is, because it's black and white, it's setting a stage for something that's going to happen, whatever that something is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and what I wanted to do was kind of give a narration to what's going to happen, like what's going to happen before the video, or kind of explaining why I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of that, I was going to do a voiceover, kind of do things like that, because I do kind of like videos that kind of have like that voiceover, kind of talk to you before or after or during the video. And I thought about it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna do it where it's just words on there, imagery, and I'm gonna let you think your own thoughts before you watch this video. So that was kind of where I was headed when I was making this intro. And I wanted to keep it a lot going once it got to the intro of the Black Pain. Try to keep everybody interested in things like that, because there are times where me personally, I can create something where the screen, like the video stays on there for like 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. And I know me personally, I'm just like, if it's 15 seconds on like the same screen, I'm just like, okay, what's next? Mm-hmm. So I try to keep something kind of like quick moving, kind of something interesting, but also make you think at the same time, like, okay, there's words on the video, there's words on there, so let me pay attention. So keeping that audience kind of engaged in that. So that intro that's where I was headed towards that. Okay. Now I will say this: when I am making the intros or things like that, my initial thought is, what music goes with this? Because I didn't want nothing playing. I wanted something to be kind of like something that builds up. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, I spent hours and days kind of, what would be the perfect song? What would be the perfect beat? What would fit this mood? So that was kind of like where my headspace of creating the intro and why I did that and things like that. And I didn't want to introduce each guy. I wanted to be kind of the same, but kind of have that new feel to it, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want it to be kind of like, here's a picture and here's their name. All right, there we go. I want to have kind of like, them actually introducing themselves to kind of like, before everything happens. So that's where my headspace was at when I was creating it. So,
is there a particular reason why you would not use color
on the
starting versus black and white, or is it?
Aesthetically, no.
Okay.
I know aesthetically that black and white, I personally like black and white, and I just like the way it looks. So there's not a typical reason why I kind of was like, yeah, I'm gonna make them think because of black and white, or kind of like, oh, there's not like such a lot of psychological reason why I did it. It was more kind of like, it looks nice like this, and I like the way it transitioned from the black and white to black and white / color, and then it goes into more color and kind of like the original video.
So the visual was also telling a story.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about Black Pain. You started out in black and white. Mm-hmm. So connect the dots for us as far as your visual art of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a story? Is this a documentary? Is this what type of art? What is? Elaborate on that.
I feel like for this video, it's more of a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to go for more of a documentary feel, just because I guess interviewing, for like the way I see interviewing, is more of documentating kind of like each person, not more of storytelling, because each person will tell their own story.
Okay.
But I want them to do it, not me. But the way that I wanted to make it happen was, well, actually, it's a little bit of both storytelling. So storytelling and documentary, just due to the fact that each question has a story behind it, and they tell their story with that documented that they're saying. So,
is there an art behind questioning?
Is there an art behind questioning? Yes.
Yeah.
There is. Because with the right questioning, you'll get the right answer, or the unexpected answer that you did not know that you did not need or did not want.
Okay.
So, I feel like there is an art to questioning, because you can ask a basic question, you'll get a basic answer, but asking an unorthodox or kind of like a simple question can definitely get you what you need out of a person. No, not saying it like in a bad way, but it's kind of like it'll get you an answer of something that you will never hear.
Okay.
And it makes that person think more, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So when I am asking these questions, some of them are kind of very basic. Well, not very basic, but kind of like straightforward. But it also makes you want to think and kind of speak on your own experience while you're listening or watching or even telling it.
Yeah.
So
I want to watch a little bit more of this, folks. Folks, again, you're tuned in to Renewal Live, and we're focusing specifically on artist appreciation, artist awareness. My guest today is Emmett. He's an artist. He's a creative media digital consultant. He's a photographer, a videographer as well. He's my nephew. We're keeping the family in here. At the same time, here at the Renewal Center, he is also our digital media consultant. So you can, what's your YouTube channel for folks to view this?
You can go to YouTube and just type in Emmett. It's a straight name. As soon as it pops up, you'll see a purple icon that says my name on it. It's my school account, so you'll see a lot of my school content on there, but that's where you can definitely find the full video of the Black Pain and actually hear everybody's point of view and their story on what they express. So
I want to review that one more time. I want to just re-cue this because that introduction was powerful. I like how you viewed that. Let me just we go back here a little bit and let's recap this again. All right, everybody. Again, this is Emmett on Black Pain. I want you to notice the imagery. I want you to notice the intro, the music, and again, it's this. I want to talk a little bit about the issue of Black pain and how art connects with this type of communication and expression. All right, so let me bring this back again and play a little bit more for you here.
I would say emotional pain.
And I associate with all, but the one that is like, I guess you could say the most damaging is mental pain.
Only because of the experience I've had to go through, whether it was in the workplace, whether it was relationships, whether it was family, just any dynamic in the world, basically. I would say emotional pain is what I've had to experience. I'm not saying I didn't experience the other two. I'm just saying emotional pain would be number one on the list.
All of us, especially as Black men, we deal with emotional pain. It just comes from life. Like, we have expectations of ourselves, high expectations of ourselves, and when things in life don't go the way we expect them to, then that's when we experience that emotional pain and stuff like that. But I feel like the way you deal with that emotional pain is what brings on the mental pain. So I was emotional about where I was in life and how things were going in life. As far as like compared to my expectations, high expectations I had of myself, mentally, I valued myself less. So valuing myself less, I saw things out for validation, which for me was money. And so it's kind of like I didn't like things weren't going right in my life, but as a validation thing, like okay, I must be this or that because she's doing this for me, or she's like she wants me, so I must be like that dude. Like I must have something going right, and so like.
All right, let's bring this back in. Wow. So, in terms of art and what you're creating, I want to get your perspective. That was my chain hitting it.
Okay, I'll
sound. So, what are your thoughts on what needs to take place now, or what's happening now with art as it relates to the status of our nation or the world, with all the different aspects that we're dealing with? What do artists do or need to do or can do or should do, if anything, right now? What do you think your responsibility is as an artist?
I think as an artist, your responsibility is, if you have something in your mind and if you have something in your heart, go ahead and create it. There's definitely times where you want to say something, or there's something that you feel like if you do say it, then it might be taken the wrong way. But in today's society, I feel like whatever you have in your heart that needs to be said, go ahead and create it. Go ahead and make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and continue making art. In today's society, we move into a world to where everything's visual. So creating art is definitely a need. It's not a want. It's kind of like, oh, I want art. It's more of like, we need a lot of art now. Photography, painting, sculpture, videography, it doesn't, music, making clothes or anything like that. If you have a vision, if you want to pursue that vision, go ahead and create it, So it's definitely our responsibility to go ahead and create what needs to be created, because one person might not see it that you feel like would see it, there's someone that you don't even think about seeing it right now. And that one piece of work that you're making can change that one person. So making art can change people, but it can also bring awareness to what you're thinking about. Because what you might be thinking about, somebody else might be thinking about as well. So it's definitely our responsibility to continue making art in whatever form it is.
That's powerful. It reminds me of James Baldwin, when James Baldwin, great writer, incredible philosopher, began to talk about the relationship between the artist and the audience, and that there's a relationship where the audience nurtures the art. So what are your thoughts on that, as far as an artist, the audience that nurtures the artist, and the artist provides this nurturing or this cadence between what I'm creating and what they're receiving from the art?
I hope I can say this correctly.
Mhm.
I guess the nurturing part between the connection between the audience and the creator is definitely important. Just because I guess the subliminal critiquing that the audience gives off
Mm-hmm.
definitely helps the creator and kind of like nurtures them to be better. I mean, there are times where me personally where I'm creating and even the audience kind of like, there's some things that you can do, or like not harshly saying kind of like it's bad or it's good, or kind of like you should go this direction. There's times where the audience can definitely nurture the kind of like the artist, but the artist actually helps nurture the audience based on having that voice of saying things that normal people wouldn't say. So I think they definitely help out each other that way. Hopefully that answered your question.
So they're saying something without saying something.
Yes.
So because communication is not just verbal,
yes.
right? So
it's visual.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is it that this Black Pain? What does that communicate? What is that communicating? What is that addressing? What is that conveying?
I guess connection.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of what it's conveying. Is more connection. I wanted to connect to Black men.
Mm-hmm.
Not to any other race. No disrespect to any other race, but because I'm a Black male, I wanted to connect only to Black males.
Mm-hmm.
And that video, I wanted to only connect to that. So that's mainly if that. Yeah.
Do you want to take that further, or are you going to take it further?
I would love to take it further.
Then what do you envision?
I guess a more I don't know yet, because I have it in my mind, but me explaining it is kind of weird. So I do want to take it further to where I want to expand that idea of Black pain, of kind of, I guess because them right now they're just talking about it, but I also want them to kind of like show, them in the action of them doing things to kind of cope with that Black pain, or them expressing kind of like, this is what it is, instead of them just sitting there and talking about it. So me creating a video of them doing something, or them in their everyday life, kind of like being behind the scenes, because nobody sees the behind the scenes, or nobody sees what you go through, only you. So that's the vision that I want to create, kind of like putting myself inside their shoes and then showing their shoes to the world, so somebody else can connect to it. So that's where I wanted to go for keeping this going.
So you have, I like that. I'm putting it all together. Art that connects. So this is art that connects. This is a message that connects. And so you're using the video, documentary, music, images, all that in one.
Yes.
Okay. It's powerful that you're doing that, because, when I think about the Harlem Renaissance, I think about a lot of the music that was created, the Big Bang music and essays and novels that came out of it, and all the art that took place in fashion. It came at a time, it was one of the most productive times, particularly within African-American context. So what do you see now in this current generation, in your generation? Where do you see all of this art going now that everyone has access to producing content with a mobile app? They can just create something. Where do you see it going?
Me personally, because we're getting not getting very virtual, but very, getting very virtual. I could definitely see it going towards movies, videos, and things of like that nature, actually displaying those things.
Okay.
And then painting art inside those videos, if that makes sense. Kind of like having that subtext already in that area.
Break that down a little further.
So kind of like this, kind of if we're watching, I'll take the movie The Photograph, for example. So that's mainly about kind of like the Black culture, keeping that Black imagery there, and then having the concept of Black photographers, having that idea of Black storytellers, having that idea of Black poets, and keeping that area. But even though photography and writing was more of a subgenre to the movie, the overall genre was more of the Black love, or the Black image, or even the aesthetic or the color palette. It was mainly that, but having those sub things, having those subjects in there helps create a more story. So what I see going forward is more movies like that, or more movies like Queen and Slim, things like that. Being made more. Hopefully my part in that is putting my 2 cents and connecting to another person like me. That's my connection to that. Or that's how I want my
Say that again.
I guess my connection to that is kind of like putting my 2 cents in, or my voice in, to someone that I can connect to, so we can create something together. So not just my vision, but other people's visions along with it. Because I can create a vision all day, but having 2 visions and having a whole team, or having a whole team that has the same vision, creates a whole bigger project. It creates a whole bigger meeting than just one person's idea. So that's where that's where I want my connection to be.
So there's this collective, there's this synergy, there's this exponent of stimuli that we all put our hands in the pot, and we begin to deposit into this creative stew. Okay. Wow. What else would you like to share about what you do? Okay, that's just the videography aspect of it. You also do photography. You want to let the audience know a little bit about your business, what your business is and what your business does?
So for my business, I am a quote unquote multimedia artist. So what that is, basically I do videography, photography. If you need some type of graphics, I will create some graphics for you. But that's mainly what my business is. So if you need a short video about something, if you need photos, quick photos, I'm your guy. I'm there. I'm quick to the point. So that's mainly what my business is, starting from the ground and where it is now.
Okay.
That's definitely what my business is.
How did they contact you?
So you can go to my social media, Young Touch Productions, on Instagram. I do not have a Facebook right now, or a Twitter. You can definitely email me at youngtouchproductions@gmail.com.
youngtouchproductions@gmail.com.
Yes.
And Young Touch Instagram.
Young Touch Productions on Instagram.
Young Touch Production on Instagram. So those of you who need photography, you need videography, he's a consultant, he has a business. So if you want to make that investment, not only in his business, but in yourself, to produce, video content, videography. And again, you don't have to necessarily be in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. Okay. So you can, and that's the glory of it, right? That you can produce even from afar.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. What else would you like to share about connecting art to culture? Anything, last words you want to share with the audience regarding that? We're honoring artists here at the Renewal Center. You are our digital media consultant. I'm so glad to have you on board. As far as our team, we're going to be creating digital content and driving our message of renewal. One of the things that you created for us was our introduction to our new you. For those of you that may not have seen it, I'm just going to bring it up real quick and give you an idea of what Emmett produced even for us. We started our new you, which is our digital discipleship, and he created this intro for us. So let me show you this, and then we'll come back. a little about your concept behind when you created this.
So I definitely wanted to step outside my comfort zone and do something totally different. Because I wanted to make something more upbeat, something more commercial, something that everybody can enjoy and definitely feel comfortable. So I made this and I was kind of like, okay, I wanted to be right. I wanted to have a lot of transitions to where it's very upbeat, it's very engaging.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I wanted to keep the same colors, keep the same energy. Didn't want to change anything that's not related to the Renewal Center. I wanted to keep everything same.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my head was at. So,
okay. Yeah, I like how you did that. That was very slick. It was quick. It was upbeat. Felt like we were coming into a national program. The new you. So it was good. Definitely enjoyed it. I tell you, your creativity is oozing. It's flowing. I'm so glad to see what you're doing, how you're expressing yourself, expressing your ideas, expressing your thoughts. So let me know a little bit. What's next? What's next on the horizon? You're about to finish up your degree.
Yes.
So you're graduating December.
Yes.
With what?
A bachelor's in fine arts in digital media with a concentration in digital media and a bachelor's of arts in Africana studies. So double major.
So you have a double bachelor. So you have a
Yes.
bachelor of arts in Africana studies and a
Yes.
bachelor of fine arts in
digital media.
Wow. All right.
Yes.
Well, congratulations. We celebrate
Thank
you in
you.
advance. You've done
Appreciate
a great
it.
work, your creativity, your expression. And again, I want to thank you for coming on our first Renewal Live.
Thanks for having
And
me.
we're here in the digital media room, production room. Emmett is the one that staffs this. And, you know, we look at the content that he created, and we're going to be creating content just like that through our digital app. So a couple of things I want to share with you. You can always reach out to us here at the Renewal Center if you're ever in the Charlotte and Concord, North Carolina area. We're at 159 Church Street here in Concord, in the historic district of Concord. We also have a digital app. So go ahead and download the mobile app, type in the Renewal Center in your store, your app store, and you can get all of our content, some of our digital content that will be coming out, our podcast information. We'll be offering Monday renewal moments every Monday, our tea time that we have on Tuesday, every Tuesday at noon as well. Emmett's going to be creating content for us as well. And so, again, we want folks to join and connect with us. We want to communicate our message, and it's to reveal Christ, to renew minds, restore lives, and to reform culture. And that's what we're here. And this conversation we're having today is reforming culture. Those of you that are artists, again, everyone is creative.
Yes.
Everyone is creative. You want to add anything to that statement?
Yes. So with being an artist, just be you. You know, there are a lot of artists out here that try to piggyback. Excuse me. Excuse me. That try to piggyback off of each other, which is good, but also just stay original to yourself. Originality is the best form of creativity. And don't be afraid to learn from one another, and definitely don't be afraid to new things and open up to kind of new art. You know, there are different forms of art. So to expand on your own personal art, dabble in somebody else's art. You know, if you are a photographer, try painting. Your creative horizon might be a little bit more higher than it was before. You know, if you do drawing, you know, try sculpting. You know, forming different things in 3D can definitely change how you see things on a 2D plane or on a sheet of paper or even on a digital plane. And just have fun doing it and enjoy. You know, the benefits will come while you are creating. You know, so just be you while you're creating. You know, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. That's my take in artists. You know, if it's music, clothing, go ahead, create what's inside your head. Somebody's going to appreciate it, and you'll appreciate for putting it out there. So,
final words from a fine young gentleman and an incredible artist, my nephew, media consultant. Excited about having him on board. And again, please reach out to Emmett Head, Young Touch Productions on Instagram, as well as Young Touch Productions at gmail.com. Reach out to him if you need content created, you need consulting work, some development for your brand, for your company, for your particular idea. We're excited about having him here, being part of our vision here at the Renewal Center. And we're looking forward to the growth and expansion we're going to experience because of him and our team coming together. Again, once again, I'm Patrick J. Brown, Executive Director of Context and Culture here at the Renewal Center. And
my name is Emmett Sharif Head, and I am the digital consultant here at the Renewal Center. So when you guys have some time, check us out and engage with us.
all right, hashtag us at I Am Renewal. We'll see you next time. Next Friday, we're going to have another artist spotlight. Please look out for us on social media. Have a good day.